بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. So the second type of the contradictions, تعارض, the first one was between between evidences themselves. Evidences. And now we will discuss the contradiction between the principles or the practical procedures. We said that before we go into the practical procedures, we have to keep repeating that to remind ourselves. This is very important to keep this sentence. What are the primary tools of the faqih, the jurist, when he wants to extract the law? What is his primary source? What do we call them? What type of evidences? Exactly. Secured evidences or securing evidence. Okay, these are secured. Why they are secured? Muhraz. Secured in Arabic is muhraz. Al-adillatul muhraza. See here? Al-adillatul muhraza. The secured evidences. Muhraz. Muhraz. I write it here. Muhraz. Muhraz. Secured, powerful, strong, convincing, assuring. Because it is from a text. He reads a text. Either the text is Quran, ayah, very plain, very clear. Okay? Though sometimes we say clear, but sometimes they also argue. Like the ayah of wudu. Ayah of wudu, both sides, both parties, they say the Quran. The Shia, they say the Quran says wipe. The Sunnis, they say wash. From the same Quran. It depends on how you interpret it, and also the grammar of it. We follow the grammar. We follow two things: the grammar and the Sunnah of the Prophet. We support our argument with two things: the grammar, the perfect, accurate Arabic grammar. And the second thing that we use as an evidence is we see how the Prophet did. We look at the Prophet. The Prophet used to wipe, not wash. So when we say secure, are you with me? When we say secure, it does not mean once you read it, oh yeah, this is very plain. No, sometimes even the secure one, you have to fight over it. You have to argue and fight over that. So these securing evidences are branched into two types. One of them are al-adillatul shar'iyya versus the second type, al-adilla aqliyya. Exactly. Religious and rational. The religious one are the Quran and the Sunnah. And the religious one is divided into two also. What are these two branches of the religious one, Shar'i?
One is the text and the other is called fi'l and taqrir.
Exactly. Verbal and non-verbal. Fi'l and taqrir. The verbal is the text, but sometimes it's not a text, it's the consent of the ma'soom, the prophet or the imam. As we mentioned in the previously, that when they see someone doing something, they are not doing it. Sometimes they do it. Sometimes they look at someone doing it before them and they agree. Their agreement, it means this is okay. Okay? If they disagree, they must say, no, you are wrong. Unless under severe circumstances. As we mentioned last night, when the verbal conflict with the non-verbal, we take the verbal. Because although the non-verbal is strong, but not as strong as the verbal. Because sometimes someone who saw, the picture was not clear for him. While when it is verbal, it's written. It's written. You can read it. After 2,000 years, you come and you read it. Okay? The evidence is stronger than the non-verbal. So the Shar'i is verbal and non-verbal, and the Aqli, again, there is the Aqli evidence, which is also powerful. Also powerful. Like, وجوب الشيء يقضي وجوب مقدمته. Anything that becomes wajib, also the prerequisite for it becomes wajib too. The example of what? Wudu. What else you can give? What other example you can give? The example of Hajj. If you are mustati', you are able to go to Hajj, and they give the visa, but then you don't go and get a passport. Although they give you the passport, they don't deny you the passport, but you are lazy, too lazy. You don't want to go. Here it becomes wajib, because you are financially able, physically okay, the road is open, there is airlines, they give you visa, the passport office is there, but you don't want to go. Here, going and getting the passport as a prerequisite becomes wajib. The aql says, because now you are mukallaf. Once you become financially able and you are physically okay, then you have to go. You cannot delay it. Okay? Some people say, I don't have a passport. But you can get the passport. You can get it. They give you the passport. So wujubu shay, whenever something becomes wajib, then the preparation for it becomes wajib too. The muqaddama, the preparation. How do I know this? The aql tells me. Aql tells me you have to do this. It becomes wajib. So these are the securing evidences. I'll delete this to make it less crowded because we finished with this, okay? With the securing evidence. Now, if the jurist could not find a securing evidence, he resorts to what? He doesn't know the hukm. He could not find the hukm. He tried very, very hard. He searched. He could not find the answer. Could not find the hukm, neither in the Quran nor in the Sunnah. Where does he go?
Procedural principle.
Exactly. He has to determine his practical stand vis-a-vis this thing. The example of that, clear example of that, is smoking. Now with drinking, we know. Drinking, it's mentioned in the Quran. Okay? They cannot drink. But let's come to smoking. He tried to find something about it because smoking did not exist at that time. And nothing says that if you smoke something, this and that, there is no clear evidence or answer. There is no secure answer. Then he has to find out, what should I do? Is this good? Is this bad? People are asking me, can I smoke or I can't smoke? Then we go to something called practical principles. We call them practical principles because they're going to determine our practical stand in regards to this issue. Whether this is halal or haram. Whether this is wajib or not wajib. Okay? The example of that is smoking. Now, when we come to this practical principles, we have three main ones. One of them is the principle of exemption, al-bara'ah, aslul bara'ah, or asalatul bara'ah. The second is Asalatul ihtiyat, caution, ihtiyat. The third one, what is the third one? What do we call it in Arabic? Asalatul or aslul istishab. Al istishab. Continuity. The presumption of continuity, which we will come to it later. We studied this, of course, but we will come to it again. Okay. Now, when it comes to something that we don't know whether this is halal or haram, or this is wajib or not wajib, here there is a difference in opinion among the jurists. Many jurists, they say, when you come to something and you don't know whether this wajib and not wajib, and you searched for it in the Quran, in the Sunnah, you could not find a clue or an answer, then your first impression and first response is what?
Ihtiyat.
The majority. You are right, but not right too. The majority of them. The majority of jurists. What do they say? The majority of them. They say bara'a. But our author, Shahid al-Sadr, here, he says, no, I differ with them. He says ihtiyat. He says the second one. This is why he calls the first response, he calls it the primary response. And the second one is secondary response. What he means by primary response, listen to this. This will come in the test. Primary response, it means your first response to something that you don't have an answer about it. Is what? Is ihtiyat. Is ihtiyat. According to him. While according to others, they say no, bara'at. And I will explain why they differ. And then he calls it the primacy of cautious or caution. The primacy of caution. Okay? Asalatul ihtiyat, the primacy of, because he says it comes first. While others, they say no, it comes second. We go for asalatul bara'a. And both of them, they argue with Quran and Hadith. They support their argument, both parties. He's not the only one. He's among the minority. The majority, they say bara'a. The minority, they say caution. So he goes for caution and he calls it primary. And then the secondary is ihtiyat. Why he says it is ihtiyat? Because the first group who says when you come across something you don't know, let's say tea. This is tea. Okay? Tea did not exist during maybe in China it did. They say thousands of years ago it was in China. But not, in the Arabian Peninsula among the Prophet and his companions or the Imams. Did not exist. So now they come and they examine it. They try to find. If there is nothing against it, then they say it's okay. It's cleared. We could not find something that says don't drink tea. Same thing with the smoking. We could not find something says don't smoke. So they say, they support their argument with Quran and Hadith. The Quran says, وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. Chapter 17, Surah Al-Isra. Surah Al-Isra or Bani Israel. We would not punish people unless we send a message. Meaning we tell them what is right and what is wrong. If we don't tell them, they have no responsibility. We don't hold them responsible or accountable for something that we did not explain. Are you with me? Those who say bara'a, the majority. And then they support it with another hadith by the Prophet, رفع عن أمتي تسع. My ummah, my nation, they are not responsible for 9 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One day I did that in the Friday prayers, in the second sermon. One of them is what? وَمَا لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. وَمَا لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. And things that they don't know. If they don't know, then we don't hold them accountable and responsible. مَا لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. When they don't know the answer, then if they do that, we don't hold them accountable. They use this a lot in their discussion. And they say, أصل البراءة, the principle of exemption, is based on this. Is based on this hadith. That when sometimes we come across something and we search to find the answer, and there is no answer, then it is okayed. Or it is not wajib, let's say. Not wajib to do it, because nobody is telling me wajib. I tried to search. I did search, and I did not find any answer. So it's not wajib. Or it's not haram. Okay? Now.
So say the question, so for the example that you put there for smoking, then that philosophy would say smoking is okay?
The majority of scholars. But Sayyid Sadr says no.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how. So we come to the smoking. Yes, the smoking, ما لا يعلمون, it's right. So the majority of them, they say, we don't know. And it's okay. Nobody said anything about it. We could not find anything to tell us even be careful or don't do or don't. No answer. And it's not a clear cut. The debate among them, you know why? Because they say, listen, some type of drugs, we know for sure that they kill. Okay? They hurt. But when it comes to smoking, they say someone has been smoking for 90 years and he died when he was 98 years old. I was telling someone, that don't smoke. He said, Sayyid, don't waste your time with me. My dad died at the age of 98, and he started smoking at the age of 12. 12. When he was at 12. I said, but your dad, he got away with it. That's not a proof. That's not an evidence. The evidence, look at what science tells you, what medicine tells you. Maybe God protected him, he got away with it. Does not mean that you're going to get away with it. So he was bringing that as a proof. So they say it is. If smoking, we could not find dalil, evidence, okay, then we resort to aslul bara'a. Our practical stand regarding smoking is bara'a. While our author says no, ihtiyat. Why? Because he says it is true we could not find dalil. It's true. We could not find dalil. But there is a possibility. You cannot categorically say, no, it is halal. Leave some room for possibility that it is haram. When you have this small percentage of possibility, he calls it probable ordinances. التكاليف المحتملة versus what? التكاليف المعلومة. Some ordinances, some commands are معلوم, very clear, we know. But when it is not very clear, it's called probable. Okay, probable, محتملة. He says when we have this possibility or a probability, even if it is 3%, then we have to avoid. We have to avoid. So he says God's ordinances has to be followed not when it is only known to us, but also when it is unknown and they are probable. Even when it is a probable. احتمال. You tell him how. He says, the brain tells me, aql. The aql says there is a possibility that there is someone standing outside, he's shooting at people. Possibility, probability. Would you go outside? You don't go. You don't go. When you come here, you lock your home, you lock your car. There are no thieves, but you say maybe. Yes, there are no thieves now. Yesterday there were no thieves. But there is a possibility. So when there is a possibility, you lock your car, you lock your house. You take caution. Even when there is a possibility, you take caution. Okay? So he says, the aql is telling us this. Therefore, he says, no. The primary, when we have no answer, we don't go to bara'ah, we go to ihtiyat if there is a probable ordinance.
So say within his his philosophy, then in the example that you gave about the wine spilling on the table and not knowing, or the
we will come to this. We will come to this, to the istishab, when we discuss this. We will come to this. Yes, yeah. We will come to this. Ilm al-ijmali, summary knowledge. We will come to that. We will come. So he says that even when there is a probable possibility, then we have to do asalatul ihtiyat, principle of caution, or he says, there is another word for it, asalatul ishtighal. Ishtighal, it means that you have been indicted. Why I have been indicted? Because it is possible. There is a possibility. You cannot say there is no possibility. Yes, if you reach that state that there is no possibility at all, then you are cleared. But when there is a possibility, you have been indicted. Meaning the hujjah is complete on you. You cannot say, no, nobody. The aql told you. This is called ishtighal. Ishtighal or ihtiyat. Okay? While others, we mentioned others, they said no. We said because it is not good. The others, when they said bara'ah, they said God would not charge you. قُبْحُ الْعِقَابِ بِلَا بِيَانٍ. We have a powerful axiom. It's called قُبْحُ الْعِقَابِ. قُبْحُ الْعِقَابِ بلا بيان. It is inappropriate, قبيح, to punish if you don't clarify. If you don't clarify, it is. So they say, when you don't clarify, you can't hold people responsible. But Sayyid al-Sadr says, no. The rational evidence is that when there is a possibility, look at our life, when there is a possibility of anything, you take precaution. You follow the caution. If they tell you this road is dangerous, sometimes it's dangerous. See, why do we wear seat belt? There is no accident. Sometimes you drive for 50 years and there is no accident. You drive it for the moment that comes, maybe 1 in billions. The possibility of 1 in billions. For that reason you wear it. Okay? And this is acceptable by average brain, by the uqala, by all the communities, all the people. They accept this. Although there is no accident every day, your driving is very safe. You've been driving for 30 years, no accident, but who knows? When they teach us, when we get on board the airplane, before they take about 10, sometimes 15 minutes, they say pay attention. Even if you are a regular traveler, put the newspaper aside, pay attention to these safety instructions. Although we know 99.9% the flight is safe. But even when there is a small chance of emergency, you have to be prepared. Okay? This is his argument. Principle of caution comes first before the principle of bara'ah.
So question, say they're bringing, the majority are bringing dalil, right? They're bringing
Yeah,
secured
Quran,
evidences.
Quran,
They
yeah.
bring hadith and Quran.
No, not hadith regarding smoking. Hadith in general. You can
No.
use this
Yes, right.
in millions of situations.
Correct.
Not regarding smoking.
No,
If
but
they
I'm
have,
saying they bring dalil for
Yeah,
their
yeah,
argument.
yeah.
Where I'm struggling is Ayatollah Sadr is bringing rational evidences, but isn't the secured evidences above the rational evidence?
No, see, secure evidence, not specific, general. If it was specific in regards to this case, then of course we don't go to all these things. That's it. We have secure evidence. Why should I resort to these things? I resort to them in the absence of secure evidence in regard to this. This is not called secure evidence because this is a general axiom, general law in the Quran. Okay? General law. It does apply to this. It does, but not specifically. It does not address this specifically. So we cannot use it as a secure evidence for smoking. No.
So that's his argument.
Yes. Okay? So he says that the primary قاعدة, not al-qaida, huh? I'm say that again, you know. Rule. قاعدة means rule, is caution, and the secondary one is bara'a, as we studied that long time ago. Let's, move from here, and then we go to istishab now. Okay, we did this, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
The one I'm a little confused. So the first impression or the
First,
primary response
uh-huh.
is ihtiyat. Then when do you then go to secondary? Like
Oh.
what fails for you?
He says when there is no probable ordinances, there is no possibility whatsoever. Okay? Like when there is no one shooting outside, it's clear, then you can go.
So you're 100% sure.
Yeah. But when there is, because who knows? Do you know about God's brain? What is inside his brain? Probably he needs this, but nobody got you the message. This is what he says. So he says, at the time when we come across things that we don't know the answer, our first response has to be caution, unless we know 100% its caution is not necessary. Then we go to bara'ah.
Then, we could apply it like, the T here, that if I don't know, would I do caution in everything then?
The example of the tea was not very clear. Yeah. We go to things that has the chances of being forbidden. Even the tea, If the tea hurts, let's say hurts.
That's what
Yeah. If the tea is something that it could have some repercussion, medical repercussion on your health, things like that. Again, they study this. And do you know some of them they say you can't drink tea? And even the Mormon here, coffee, tea, you don't drink, okay? So some of them, even when it comes to this. So let's go to istishab. Now, so we finished with the first, bara'ah and caution, and we come to istishab. Istishab, what is istishab, my friends? Istishab, we mentioned earlier, that when you have a certain answer, certain, no doubt about it, but then you reach a point you don't know whether this wujub, this ordinance, this obligation continues or stops here. Continues or stops here. So you start having doubt. So what is the answer in that case?
It's whatever
Exactly. Why? Because the hadith says, do not break certainty with doubt. Break it with another certainty. Okay? So you continue. You say, no, if I have doubt, the example of that, I know for sure I did wudu. When I left home, I did wudu. I remember very well. I came to the masjid, I drove 25 miles. I came here after 1 hour. Now, did I break my wudu or not? I don't know. I can't say yes or no. I have doubt. Then, in this case, I continue. Istishab. Presumption of continuity. I say, because I know for 100% I did wudu at home, and I do not know for 100% that I broke it, invalidated my wudu, then I say, yes, I have wudu. This is the istishab.
So would that be similar, say, to if you follow the principle of ihtiyat for, say, smoking, and you determine that because of ihtiyat you should not smoke, it's haram. Then they come out with, let's say, now they have the e-cigarettes, right? So the next verdict would that be under the presumption of continuity because the smoking was haram, then therefore e-cigarettes?
No, they establish something in you. Because with the istishab, what is the difference between a principle and evidence?
The evidence is
Qat, 100%. Does these things are 100%? No, they are not 100%. But I have no choice but to follow them. I'm not saying this one is 100%, this one, I'm not saying. But I say most likely. But with this, the evidence, I don't say most likely. No. Qat. This is why we call it muhraz, secured. Does not accept any doubt or hesitation. With this one, no. It could be something else. It could be the answer with God is something else. But God is saying, follow this. Follow this to find the answer. Okay? I'm not saying I'm finding the answer. I'm saying this is my practical stand. It could be right, it could be wrong. So when we said regarding smoking, it is halal, let's say, we cannot use it with another thing. The another thing, the e-smoking, you have to begin the new process all over again. Because with the smoking, it's not 100%. So you say, because it's not yaqeen. Remember, istishab, continuity, has two sides. One of them is certainty. One of them is doubt. You are certain. Now you are certain. But you reached a point, you have a doubt. Here, they say, don't care about the doubt. Work, depend on certainty. Okay? But it cannot be applied for the e-cigarettes. The e-cigarettes has to have a new ruling. We study that again. We study that again. We study that, a new process.
Because the smoking is not certain.
It's not certain. It's not certain. We don't know. It could be yes, it could be no. I can't say, no. I can't say through these procedures that I am certain. I can say through the evidence I am certain, but not this. These are dhann. This is qat'. This is qat'. This is dhann. Okay? And the dhann is not certainty. Okay? Now, so the example they give is the conflict that comes. See, we are speaking about contradictions. They say contradiction between bara'a, which is exemption. Okay. Between two principles. One of them is the principle of exemption, bara'a, versus which one? Continuity. Exemption, they say this is the most common. The most common contradiction, we find it between exemption, bara'ah, asalatul bara'ah, and al-istishab. Al-istishab. Okay? It happens between these two. They say this is the most frequent. And he gives the example that about where do you break your fast. He says, I know fasting begins with Fajr. وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا. The Quran says in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ مِنَ الْفَجْرِ ثُمَّ أَتِمُّوا الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ. So I know at Fajr, no more food until Layl. There is a dispute regarding Layl. What is Layl? Is it sunset? The actual sunset is Layl, or after the actual sunset? Okay? Some say, let's use Bara'ah. God is saying Layl. Why do I have to wait? Many people say this. As soon as the sun sits, this is Layl. But the istishab says no. You knew that you have to continue your fast until where?
Your sun is gone till it's dark.
Huh?
Started when it was.
Until you make sure Layl is there. Because you cannot stop if you have doubt. See, at the time of sunset, we have doubt. You cannot cancel the certainty with doubt. Are you with me? You have to make sure that now it is night, then you start eating. So we have to follow this continuity, istishab. We can't follow bara'ah. You can't follow the bara'ah. So the continuity takes precedence over bara'at. It takes precedence over bara'at. Okay?
You said, sorry, you said say it, continuity, what is it, prevails, you said?
Yeah, prevails or takes precedence.
Oh, present.
Yeah, precedence. Not president, precedence. So, precedence. Taqaddum. Means taqaddum, means it wins, it overrides. What do we call this process, my friends? Now let me repeat this to make it easier. Why did we choose istishab? We know that we have to begin the fasting, Hajj Nadim, from Fajr. But when it comes to the end of the fasting, we don't know. Is it the actual sunset or maybe 15 minutes after sunset? Because the Quran says Layl. See, Layl. Had the Quran been saying Ghurub, we know Ghurub. Ghurub means sunset. But he did not say Ghurub. He said Layl. Now Layl, people debate. What is Layl? If you ask American people here, let's say, or others, they say Layl is sunset. Others, they say no. Even when there is sunset, it's not dark, completely dark. Have you noticed? Even maybe half an hour after sunset, you can see things in the street. It's not completely dark. So there is shak. Here we develop doubt. When you develop doubt, can we use this or that? Some people say, why not using this? We can't use this. Why? Because this doubt is not an what?
Initial.
Exactly. Do you remember we said, when do we use exemption? When the doubt is ibtida'i, badwi, initial doubt. Initial doubt. I have no previous knowledge. I come to this cup, okay? Nobody's telling me this is najis. No information. I find it here. I assume this is tahir. I drink it. But when there is two cups, one of them is saying someone is saying, listen, one of these cups, he did not say which one. He said, when you go into this conference room, there are two cups. One of them is najis, one of them is tahir. Can I come and drink? I say, no. Here I have to use what? Ihtiyat, exactly. This is called ilmul ijmali, summary knowledge. So I have knowledge. I cannot say, no, I didn't have knowledge. I have knowledge here. But my knowledge is not detailed, it's summary knowledge. But when it comes to initial doubt, we use bara'a, the initial doubt. Initial doubt. Initial doubt. Ash-shak, they call it ash-shakkul badwi or al-ibtida'i, the primary shak. We use the example that I give. I come to the room, nobody has told me anything. Is this table najis or tahir? I have no knowledge. Then I say tahir. Okay? But if someone said, listen, there are 5 tables, one of them is najis, the other 4 are tahir, but he did not say which one. Here I have to use caution. So the example of sunset is not initial doubt. Why? It's not initial doubt. Why it's not initial doubt?
There's a doubt between the dark and the...
Not only that, because Allah is saying continue, ثُمَّ أَتِمُّ, until you make sure. So I was fasting before. I cannot break my fast until I make sure. So this one applies. Because this one, when do we use this one? We use this one when I'm certain that I have to do certain things, and I reach a point, I reach a point where I have doubt. In this case, I follow the certainty, I continue. So that one applies to the example of sunset. I have to make sure. I have to make sure that now it is time off. My responsibility is to keep fasting until you make sure. In this case, I'm not making sure, no. In this case, I'm not making sure. I have doubt. I can't resolve that doubt. So this one takes precedence. What do we call this process, my friends? Again, you are very smart. I am proud of you. Believe me, you are very intelligent. When something overrides something or overrule something else. Hukuma. Exactly. Hukuma, it means this one overrides this. This one overrule. This is overrule and this is overruled. The defeated one. Overruled. Okay? وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.